The next thing we need to do for our app here is we need to add the images we need for to place in the image view. So remember that anytime you're adding sound files, image files, anything, you're going to add them to this assets.xc assets folder. The images you need for this particular program should be in with the data file resources from the iBook. We're in Chapter 18, Adaptive User Interfaces. You're going to go to Resources, the Element Quiz, and then here are the files. All you really need are just the the first image listed, the carbon.png, chlorine, gold, sodium, etc. So I'm just going to drag that file in here. Make sure do not place it in the app icon. This is not going to be the icon for the app. It's just going to be an image file in the program. And I'm going to repeat that for each of these guys. Chlorine, gold, and sodium. So now that they're in here, we're going to access them later. But for now, what we want to do is I want to go back to the main storyboard and go ahead and create the actions and outlets we need for each of the objects in here. Once again, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and throw in the editor here. Oops. So I've got the editor open. I'm going to go ahead and hide the navigator so that we can fit both the storyboard and the assistant editor on the screen. So I'm viewing the view controller, which is where we want to put our actions and outlets. So what we need here is we need an outlet for the image view and for the label, and then we need actions for the two buttons, for show answer and for next element. The book suggests that you call your outlet for the image view just image view, and then for the label you call it answer label, and then the action for the next element would be go to next element, and for show answer, show answer. So pretty close to what these things actually are. So remember, and this is a little tricky because we need to make sure that we're creating outlets and actions for the actual items and not for the entire stack view itself. So make sure when you select something, that it's highlighted over here as well. I just want the image view, and then I'm going to control, click, and drag right in here. I'm going to create an outlet, and this is for the image view, and the type is image view, and I will connect that. So now we have a variable for the image view, and then I'm going to do the same thing with the label, making sure it's just the label that's selected. I'm going to control drag. Let's bring it right below. A little finicky. And we're going to, it's another outlet. We will call this answer label. And then I'm going to create my two actions. So for show answer, bring it down here. Once again, this is an action. We'll call this show answer. And the type of this action is a button. And make sure you have action selected. And then we're going to do the same thing for next element. Click that, control, click, bring it down here. And this will be an action, and this will be called go to next element. And this action will be a button. So now I have two outlets, one for the image view, one for the answer label, and two actions, one for the show answer button and one for the next element button. Okay, the next thing we want to do here is we want to create an array that's going to control, help sort of control what the app is doing. And this array will be an array that contains 4 strings, one for each of the elements. If you need a reminder of what the elements are, they list them in the book. But you can also go back here, show the navigator, and go back to the assets. And these are the elements. You've got carbon, chlorine, gold, and sodium. And the order they put them in the book is carbon, gold, chlorine, sodium. And so this array will be a constant. And we're going to call this element list. And we're going to go ahead and populate it with these different elements. Carbon. And these are going to be listed as strings. So we'll put them in quotation marks. Oops, forgot my quotation marks. And then what we're going to have is we're going to have a variable that's going to keep track of the index so that as the app goes through the different elements, we'll have a variable that'll keep track of what our current element is. So I'm going to call this current element index. And we'll start it at 0.